Episode 3 of The Penguin sees Vic finally meet Sofia, as well as the deepening of the Oz/Sofia relationship. There's a lot of great scenes in this episode, with some great dialogue and great performances. Say great one more time. I'm starting to sound like Donald Trump. Sofia and Oz solidify their position with the crime lords of Gotham and set themselves up for a productive future. But others have their eye on a slice of the pie. It's got so much going for it, it's a shame a few niggling issues creep in here and there to rain on the parade. Colin Farrell is great again as Oz, and is being supported by some great performances by the supporting cast. Now, let's get into the spoilers. We finally get a look at Vic's life before the destruction of the Gotham seawall by the Riddler. Vic seems like he was a regular urban kid, hanging out with friends, got a girlfriend, a nice family who cares for him, living the dream. But he does wish they could have a little more. But his parents seem content with what they have. So Victor and Grisella were on the roof waiting for the election night fireworks when the seawall was blown up, and he had to watch as his family's apartment was battered by the inflowing seawater. This scene shows that he had a good upbringing in the poorer part of town, has a girl named Grisella, and that he was friends with a guy whose cousin was a scumbag. But Vic didn't want anything to do with squid, so he's a good lad. Pretty good effects in these shots of the seawall breaking and flooding the city. We also get to see that the vibrations of the building Vic was on stuck with him, as a vivid memory of the night he lost his family and his city. Vic is now driving Oz and Sofia to the new drug deal. But conveniently, Oz gets an urgent phone call from Sal Maroni just as he buzzes Sofia in. So now Vic has to entertain her until Oz gets back. We get to see that Sofia sees Vic as way beneath her, and that he may as well not bother talking to her. Giving Vic a stutter was a genius move, as it really makes him a character you can empathise with. You want good things to happen to the guy. Sofia tells Oz that it was just going to be the two of them tonight. See, that's how you do it. They're revealing their relationship dynamic before your eyes instead of having people tell you about it. It's the subtle things, like the chemist in Sofia's operation gets introduced to Oz and he puts out a fist for a fist bump. Oz, being Oz, just looks at him like he's an idiot. If this was Marvel, the chemist would have been shown with a goofy grin on his face and say something stupid like, "Okay, suit yourself." In The Penguin, the story just keeps rolling on. The chemist is a capable man. He just has a different personality to Oz. Turns out the new drug is a mushroom sap that they used in Arkham to keep the prisoners passive. Sofia has used it and she seems to think it would make a stack of cash. There you go, she had a negative experience and she learned something from it. Not like modern female characters who can do no wrong and just have everything fall in their laps. Sofia's taken her lumps and now she's cashing in. But because they can't use the Falcone family connections, they're going to have to rely on Oz's external contracts. See, not everything is working in her favour, but she adapts. Clever writing. Grisella arrives at Oz's apartment and she informs Vic that she's leaving Gotham to go live in California. Out of the frying pan and into the fire. Still, at least it's not San Francisco. She gives Vic the option of joining her, but there's a ticking clock. The bus leaves tomorrow night. Vic isn't sure that Oz will let him go. I mean, he's seen some stuff that you would want keep locked down. Johnny Viti's giving Sofia the hard word that she should keep out of the family business and get on that plane to Italy. He implies that if she doesn't go in 2 days, they'll have her whacked. What a great job this guy does of acting like a total prick. While Oz and Sofia talk to the triads, Vic waits out front. This is a bit of a silly scene. I hate when people are committing a crime, and then they commit another crime that draws attention to them. You don't speed away from an assassination, you'll just get pulled over and identified. You also don't park in a loading zone when you've got a bag full of drugs in the back seat. So Vic gets harassed by a copper who questions the amount of money he has. Vic smartly says, "What money? I ain't got no money," and the copper walks away with the bribe. So Oz and Sofia convince the triads to let them talk to the head honcho by bluffing that they have the blessing of the family and that there's going to be changes in the Falcone family. I like this next scene of Oz and Vic eating lunch at a fancy restaurant. Oz doesn't let the waiter try to finish Vic's sentence for him, and insists that the waiter wait for Vic to do it himself. It's a good little scene showing that Oz doesn't allow disabilities to be a setback and that you have to stand up for yourself to get respect. In order to get Johnny Vitti to back their play, Oz blackmails Luca's wife into letting them know where she'll be hooking up with Johnny. Now they've got him by the balls, but Vitti's an arrogant man, so he has to take a swipe at Oz on the way down. I love the acting from Colin Farrell here, really giving it to Johnny Vitti. So obviously Johnny made the call, I mean what else could he do? And Oz and the crew are slinging Bliss, the new party drug at the Triads nightclub. Meanwhile, Vic is still getting messages from Gracella to remind him to leave town with her. So now Vic's torn between a great opportunity with Oz and the girl that he loves and relative safety. But after Oz's speech over lunch about how the world isn't set up for an honest man to succeed, he's going to have a difficult decision to make. Before the Triads arrive, Sofia puts Oz back in his place a little, informing him that she remembers what he did to her. Did he send her to Arkham? Did he rat on her? But Oz plays it off as Johnny Vitti getting in her head, driving a wedge between them. Damn, she's so cold-blooded. The Bliss is selling like hotcakes and Vic is being kept busy supplying the ladies with their wares. Sofia is meeting with Mr. Zhao and she's noticing that Oz keeps overstepping. But she allows it because it seems to be working, yet she seems suspicious that Oz will throw her under the bus again. It's subtle, but you can notice it. It's clear that Vic has some form of PTSD as the loud booming music and the scattered Bliss bottles give him flashbacks of the night the Riddler blew up the seawall and he lost his family. It doesn't help that this Roxy floozy is trying to distract him from his job. I like the juxtaposition of the people screaming and the people in the throes of ecstasy. It kind of ties it up with what Sofia was saying about behaviours being rooted in psychological need. Sofia reveals that Bliss was originally what they gave the prisoners in Arkham to subdue them. Sofia really gets across that she has the upper hand with her take it or leave it attitude. If the Triads won't sell their drug, they know somebody else will, and they don't care who it is. Cool scene between Oz and Vic in the toilets. No, not like that. Although... So Vic is sprung messaging Gracella and Oz wants to know if he was running off with his money. Now Vic has to explain that he wants to go, but he's afraid that he's trapped in the mob because he knows too much. Well, Oz is incensed. You think that you're my prisoner after I gave you clothes, money, a place to stay? He basically implies that if Vic wants to be a good guy and die poor, well, congrats. You can achieve that right now. But we've got an opportunity here to be part of something big. So Vic's torn between being a scumbag and getting rewarded for it, or being an angel and living the rest of his life on the poverty line. Vic leaves and you can see that Oz is hurt by it. Vic arrives at the bus terminal in time but hesitates and that's it, he's missed his shot. One of my favourite scenes of the entire series so far is the scene of Oz and Sofia coming to terms with their relationship. Sofia blaming Oz for being sent to Arkham and Oz admitting that he benefited a lot from what he did. I think Sofia respects him for his honesty. Most guys would have tried to lie their way out of it. But I guess she's in a position that she needs backup. She's on her own against a family and she's a little out of her depth. Just as they come to an understanding, the Maronis turn up and throw a spanner in the works. Now Penguin's on the hook and has to pick a side, immediately. Luckily, Vic has chosen this moment to return and rams the Maronis and rescues Oz. But not before Oz yells at Vic to leave Sofia behind. So there's no way the Maronis will have him back, and Sofia has to be upset with it. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. It's an 8 out of 10 for me for episode 3 of The Penguin. So many great scenes, like the final scene between Oz and Sofia, the toilet scene with Oz and Vic, the restaurant scene with the impatient waiter. Just let down by a few small issues. People doing major crimes while also doing petty crimes always annoys me. And maybe Vic coming back right at the most opportune time. They could be seen as a bit sus. Some great performances by Colin Farrell and the chick who plays Sofia. I'm really starting to warm to Vic too. You know, he's got a lot on his plate and the actor does such a good job with the vulnerability. And subtle things like his stutter becoming more pronounced when he's talking to people he's unfamiliar with. But also receding when he's talking about things he's an authority on, like his family. It's a good feeling to have a show that you can look forward to each week. Thanks for watching. If you like what you saw, please consider subscribing. I release reviews occasionally when time allows, and a thumbs up would be a big motivator for further reviews. If you didn't like it, feel free to leave a thumbs down and let me know how I can improve in the comments below. Anyway, I'm Mixie, thanks for your time, and have a good one.